Hey, everybody. We are on site, on location in Toronto, Canada today, talking with our friends at Applied Systems Technologies. So we got a couple folks on the call today. We got Rico Taraski. You got to roll the R. John Herrera and Luciano Chichi. And of course, Corey and Shane. So welcome to another podcast. So guys, we're glad we got to actually come to Toronto and hang out with you guys. Obviously, we've been able to touch base a little bit at some of the president's meetings for the past few years, but this is my first time in Canada, period. So really happy that I get to spend a little time with you guys.
Welcome.
So, all right.
We appreciate you coming down. We really do.
Yeah. So, all right. So for the listeners out there that will tune in and listen to you cats, tell us what, all right. So you're a three-headed dragon. Technically Dino's a part of this group as well, but he's not on this call, but tell us what you're doing today with Applied System Technologies. Right. And then I really would like you guys to back up and be like, all right, how'd you guys come together in the first place? How'd you get in the HVAC business? But give so that everybody understands, if your buddies see this on LinkedIn, they're like, oh yeah, I saw you, right? Tell people what you're doing today, and then let's back up to start. So I don't know who wants to answer what you're doing today, but maybe each of you, how do you kind of separate and manage the business today and what you're doing?
Anyhow, like Corey pronounced my name properly, I'm Rico Taraski, currently president of Applied Systems Technologies. When we started discussions with Service Logic, that came up. They said, we're really interested in purchasing you guys, but we got a bit of a problem. Like there's 3 owners, and you need a strong financial person. So I got the short straw, and I'm here now. So, all kidding aside, but so I'm president, so I basically feel like I'm a babysitter every day.
To these two, right? That's right.
Yeah.
It's been good. I have a lot of respect for John and Luch because it was a little bit different. These guys were my business partners. Now I'm the president, but we adjusted really well. John runs new projects and modernization. Luciano, some VP, but I don't know what he does. But no, all kidding aside, Luch is a selling machine. He's all over the condo stuff, and most recently, he became president of Ingenuity.
Okay.
So basically,
which is Ingenuity is your controls group for those who don't know exactly what that is.
So basically, they purchased Service Logic purchased a controls company out in London, June of 24. And they basically rebranded for optics. So, and they called it they rebranded to Ingenuity, and Luciano's running the division there.
So everything from anything mechanical and HVAC or controls, Applied Systems Technologies has your customers back. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Customers.
We're getting a lot of requests from our applied customers, like about controls.
Yeah.
So we explain what we did, and then this week, one of our customers asked, and so we put the lead over to one of Luch's people there, and his sales rep, and it's been working out well.
John, go ahead. What were your comments on that?
No, I mean, luckily, I know Craig's concern is the fact that there were 3 of us and we're all pretty strong personalities, but we're also different, and that's been our strength as a company for growth, because we're all very strong in different areas, and we handle everything. There used to be an ongoing joke that we had a chiller department, and then we'll do friggin' anything department, as long as there's money to be made. But it's been our strength. Yeah, and we cover all aspects, and from chillers, boilers, refrigeration, HVAC, sheet metal, and we will either do it with our own forces, or we have a really, really good base of subs that we've been working for almost 20 years. And then the controls grew. It grew out of
Lou, anything?
Yeah, I agree. The controls group, our customers kept on asking us about controls, and basically we were subbing out our controls to the bigger boys on the block, and we decided to take it on ourselves, right? And now we're rebranding it. Basically, Ingenuity will take care of controls for our competitors, and Naylor being one of our competitors, we're doing their control work for them, right? So that's been working out very well.
Yeah,
But
that's what you guys do today. How did you guys get into the industry? How did this company come about? What's the longer story there?
Holy shit.
John, why don't you start it off?
Yeah, so it's
John, start it off.
I can compete with Pete Doyle, eh?
Yeah.
No, all kidding aside. Rico and I think we're destined to be together at some point as partners, because I graduated from a mechanical engineering college program and started as an instrumentation technician for a pharmaceutical company. And funny enough, Rico was starting as his apprenticeship at Train as a chiller mechanic, and we crossed paths then. I was there for 8 years and then finally made it out into the industry. And I really wanted to go work for Carmichael Engineering, because they did a lot of pharmaceutical like environmental chambers, low temp. But quickly, they wouldn't hire me because they were worried about conflict of interest, even though my boss said they would hire him. There's no problem. We'd actually like to have him come back and do the work. But so I ended up a mechanic that did work for us lost his driver's license from Michael Mechanical. And he called me up. He goes, "You want to get in the trade? Go sign up at the union right now. You're going to be my driver for 6 months," because he lost his license. But you know what? It was awesome. It was a good training background. Then I went over to Carmichael and started there with Pino, which is Rico's brother. And we used to do a lot of work in the refrigeration, like we do industrial and commercial refrigeration warehouses and stuff like that. And Pino left Carmichael. They wanted me to come over. I wasn't quite ready, but a year and a half later, I ended up coming over, and we started Arctic Technologies, play on the words, which was refrigeration technologies in Canada. And we were predominantly doing industrial and commercial refrigeration design build for like Parmalat, Astra Dairy, Conestoga Meat Packers, Canada Packers, Schneider. So it was good, but it was hard to get manpower because guys were afraid of refrigeration because it's pretty demanding.
When was that, John? 96 you started?
Yeah.
My brother? Yeah.
And then Rico, we started. We were trying to grow. And Rico, you joined us in 02?
2001.
2001. Rico came over, and that's when we still maintained Arctic Technologies, and we kind of still maintained some of our key refrigeration customers. But that's when we really swung it and took it to a different level on the commercial and institutional side. We started doing work for Peel Board at that time. And I mean, Rico's brother, Freddie, God rest his soul, he was instrumental in like when we landed Peel Board and Rogers which is a communication, we did the broadcasting station. Those were two like big accounts for us. It was a big deal. And then moving forward, we tried to hire Luch. We were courting him to hire him, and
I did come aboard.
Yeah, he came aboard.
I'll tell you Luch's story. So I came in, like I was doing, mainly chillers at Train. I started there in 88 to 2001. And, between John and my brothers, they said, "Oh, get that Train tattoo off your butt, make a move." So we did. But I thought comfort cooling in buildings was critical. But man, this and Arctic, all they did was like 85 or 90% refrigeration work. talk about the pressure cooker, man. When people's food's going bad, holy shit! Like, I was like, what did I do to myself? But anyhow, but it was at the time when I came over, it was me and John on the tools, and a couple of apprentices. And then my brother Pino was in the office, and Lorraine was our controller, right? There was a few of us, John?
Yeah.
But slowly but surely, we started growing. Like John said, my brother, he had retired from Train, and he was a sales manager there, so he had a lot of contacts, and I made some good connections when I was at Train. So people started calling, and slowly we evolved and started getting, different type of work, like commercial buildings, like John said, Peel School Board. More commercial accounts, and then I know John's passion is refrigeration, but that kind of took a back seat. Hey, John?
Yeah, I was
Because
good.
John used to design, customers, engineers would call him, hey, John, I got to cool like 400 hogs by 5 a.m. They got to be 4 Celsius. He would design these coolers, right? And anyhow, totally different.
God bless the people that do that cold storage refrigeration nonstop, because it is 2 a.m. calls in the morning, right?
Yeah. It was crazy. It was next level stress, man. Like when their stuff was going bad, when they couldn't collect their pigs in the morning because the reefers were down. Crazy. And I remember the one time John designed a blast freezer for this Chudley's Farms. They make apple pies, and like the place smelled amazing all day. Smelled apple pie, but we were in a cooler, he designed a blast freezer that basically freezes the pies in 20 minutes. And I look over to John, we're setting up TX valves, like, John, I think my head's frozen, get me out of here. But yeah, you know what, and eventually we evolved. And then Luciano, I actually started the trade with Luci. We're in union school together, and I seen him out in the parking lot one day in front of our office, and I started courting him, right? And we were having problems finding people because a lot of guys that wanted to come over, they said, oh, it'd be good if you were in the union. So when Luciano started talking to us, we made that decision. Okay, let's join the union. But I think he played us, because a week later he started business with Mike Gentile, who had a big mechanical company, right? So he, in 2003, Luch, yeah. Is that when you started? You started Alice Mechanical with this big.
Yeah, when my first son was. Yeah, so they courted me, and
Yeah, so
we didn't put enough on the table, guys. To be honest.
What were you doing?
Pardon?
Yeah. What were you? Take us. Where were you starting at, Luch?
How
did you get to the point where you were? Were you running another company?
No, so I was working as a lead technician at a smaller HVAC contractor, commercial industrial. I known Rico, obviously through union school, and our director of sales right now, Peter Mari. I went to school with him in college, and then that's how I met Rico, because Peter worked at Train with Rico. So we met in the parking lot. And he says, are you happy at your current position and current job? And I said, not really. So I went to go talk to John, Pino, and Rico, and we kind of hammered out a deal there, right? They gave me what I wanted. Yeah. So our former partner, Mike Gentile, that owned the large mechanical contracting company, I was in his new house, and we were repiping his HRV unit. And I said, you know what? I'm leaving this current company, and I'm going with Arctic, your neighbors. He goes, really? He goes, let's go upstairs. Let's talk. So we went upstairs. In 45 minutes, we hammered out a partnership agreement. So I had to go back to Rico and John and and basically tell them I'm not coming aboard. So that's when I opened up Ellis Mechanical, and we shared work, because Rico had that chiller experience. We were getting buildings, right? And I needed someone experienced to take care of the chillers, and Rico did all the chiller work for me. And God bless Rico's brother Fred. he sold our first maintenance contract at Ellis, right? And Pino was all up in arms because Pino couldn't get him to sell the contract for his own brother.
For
right?
us.
But and then we started working together quite a bit, right? And then we decided let's just get married, guys, and become applied, and that's our story.
Yeah.
You know, has it been good? It depends on the day, right? But it's a good. It's been really good. I spend more time with these two guys than I spend with my family. So.
And you know what?
Well, from the outside looking in, it seems like you guys have a blast. To be honest, it's harder to get greeted more kindly coming into a city or an office. So we appreciate the hospitality from coming from little North Carolina. But it seems like you guys there's all kinds of opportunity for frustration in business trying to get everything done. So the fact that you guys with a three-headed dragon for leadership have really made it work for 20 years now, which is phenomenal. And it seems like you do have a real brotherhood and partnership mentality that really works well, for your group. So,
and it goes.
I don't know the bad days, but all I see is it looks like it's working really well.
Yeah, I think John made a valid point. I think it works so well because everyone had their own expertise, right? Like Luch is kind of all over condos. John, he's missing an engineering snap, so he does a lot of design, construction, and you know what? And I focus on service contracts and more on the commercial side, right? So it kind of all worked perfectly, right? I consider John my Portuguese brother, pretty much.
Like you do. We all have them, Rico.
He's my Portuguese brother too.
Yeah. But the circle back, Corey,
like we said. Go ahead, John.
Sorry, to circle back, like our brotherhood, like the three of us get along really, really well. We have bad days, and there are days we bite our tongue. I joke around. It's kind of like a marriage, but it does roll. It goes down to our people, and they sense it too. And I mean, you guys could see the camaraderie with the account managers in the back and the project managers in the office. And one of the biggest, most important things for us when we started talking with Service Logic was we didn't want to lose that culture. We didn't want to lose because it took us a long time to. Like, it was important to us. We built it that way, and we wanted to always keep that. Even though we're a fairly big company, we wanted to keep that small family and camaraderie going. Like, I mean, we still keep things going. Like Thursday afternoons in the back, it's open for whoever wants to come back and have. Now that the nice weather, we'll throw something on the barbecue and just hang out and let loose a little bit, right?
Yeah. Service Logic gave us enough running room.
Yeah,
that's
So we're happy about that.
That's actually a really good segue because I was going to ask you. So you guys form your company, start working together, and you grow, and then you go through the process of Service Logic acquiring you. It was the right time for you guys. How has it been since? How's it changed? How's it not changed?
Well, the bank account got a little bit larger.
I think it's. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, well.
But honestly, I don't know if you guys know this, but we had an LOI sent. Dakin was talking to us in March of 2020, and they had an LOI, and then COVID hit, and I'm personally happy that fell through the cracks because I knew that wouldn't have been the same. Like having that culture and running we still with Service Logic, we still run it like a family business, right? And maybe I'm a bad businessman, but I was really nervous about selling it because you got to worry about your people that helped you get to this this place,
Sure.
you know. And I know Dakin, they had their own accounting division. Everybody would have lost their jobs, and as much as they said, "Oh, Applied, you're bigger than the Dakin service here in Toronto," but it was all BS. So I didn't have a good feeling, and then it fell through the cracks, and I was happy. And then you guys came knocking on our door April or February of 21, right? That's when it all started. But having said that, I mean, you know, trust me, we were a little bit skeptical on, oh yeah, you can run it as you did. You have complete autonomy. You know, I said, okay, let's see how this goes. But honestly, and then you had a lot of people here that I used to work with at Train and Johnson Controls, and trust me, they were nervous because they were corporate America with shareholders. And then, you know what? They're still all here. So I'm proud of that a lot of the people stay and they see really it's the same company. The only thing that's changed is, you know, the monthly reporting. Yeah. We weren't good at that, and you guys offer great training. You know, guys like yourself. There's a lot of smart people at Service Logic, and like even earnings calls. You're not speaking to, you know, you're speaking to like, you know, competent people that, you know, ran businesses, not just like an accountant. They're a bean counter, for lack of better words, right? So they understand your struggles every month and what you go through. So it's been great. No, guys? No?
Absolutely.
John,
absolutely. And the growth has been fantastic.
Yeah,
100%. 110%.
I learned so many titles. I didn't know so many titles existed until Service Logic launched all those new titles. There's a title for everybody.
We just had our name.
Everybody's got to be unique. Everybody's got to have their own time.
Yeah. No, we just had our names on our
it's been very good
for forever, and then Ponzo started. Yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's good.
The support.
I'm glad that what we hear from a lot of people that have joined the Service Logic family is that they are very surprised that what Ryan Crawl was saying is actually true, that you actually do get to keep running your business like you do, but we're going to come along and provide some, you know, support and maybe some structure, you know, where it might be needed, you know, just so that you can run the business better, right? And focus on things that help grow your business. So I'm glad y'all seen that to be true and testify, you know, that fact. What I'm interested in, all right, so you got to a point, what made you guys say, was it just because you kept getting phone calls of, do you want to sell? What made you guys get to the point where you're like, all right, there's three of us here. Why do we want to sell this business in the first place? What brought you to that position?
I think there was a couple of
I don't know. We
couple of
go ahead.
Not issues, but why we wanted to sell business was one. Our former partner that passed away last year, he was diagnosed with cancer. So, you know, he basically said, guys, you know what, X number of years I want to be out of the business, and then it would have just been us three. And his portion was, you know, considerably a large lift, if you want to call it that, money wise, and also showing our employees that they can go past the owners, right? As basically they can become, you know, vice presidents or presidents of the company, and there's no glass ceiling, right? So, and that retained a lot of our talent as well, knowing that there's a lot of opportunity now, not just at Applied, you know, at Service Logic. So that's how I took it.
Sure.
I think we're all the same. I think we didn't we wanted give opportunities to our employees. It was a blessing in disguise that COVID hit and everything got shut down, and we were introduced to Service Logic. Because like Luch said, for us, we didn't have a good succession plan. We looked at other ways of how we could bring our employees up and maybe even transfer shares. But just because the three of us made great partners didn't mean the rest of the guys made good partners. But at least this way, they could still move up within the company and be part of a bigger structure. And that's our succession plan. I didn't have children that were interested in the business. They were in their own careers, nor did I want to force them to come into. So it was kind of, we're getting at that age where it's, oh man, what are we going to do in the next 10 years or 5 to 10 years, like as we progress through and we want to retire or move out. And this, I know I can speak, and I think I speak for everybody. I'm so glad our paths crossed, because it was the perfect chemistry for our company. And I think Service Logic is pleased with their first Canadian adoption.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. The feeling's mutual. It's been a great partnership.
But like John said, I mean, we didn't really
Go ahead, Rico.
We didn't have a succession plan, and then I kept saying, you know what, like if you don't like your job, you can quit, but a little bit harder when you own something. Like I love working here, but I said, okay, I really want to be in my 70s still working. Like, and I hear some other business owners that they're stuck, right? And what opened my eyes the most was an old train colleague of mine that he runs a non-destructive testing company. He was one of the owners, like eddy current testing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I was talking to him, and I go, his name was Chris Croucher, and I said, hey, I go, Chris, what are your plans? When are you going to pack it in? Because he was about 68. He goes, yeah, Rick, I got 4 months. He said, and I'm done. Because he's building a nice house out in the West End. I go, great. I said, Chris, I'm like still 53, 54, but I'm thinking about it now. And he said to me, he says, hey, Rico, you know why they got wheels on office chairs? Because when they find you keeled over your desk in the morning, they'll just roll you out and say he was a great guy, and then roll in the new guy. And sadly enough, this guy got. I thought, I go, holy fucking Christ, yeah, he was a good guy. Let's roll him out of his office and bring in the new guy. But 4 months later, he got brain cancer and died. So it's like, I don't know, it's stuck with me from back then, But
yeah,
anyway, and John brought up.
We're not invincible.
We're not. You know what I mean? So, and I really like the fact too with our labor agreement that, a lot of guys said, hey, Rico, when you gonna pack it in? And usually 2 years. They boot you out in the street. They take out the old owners and new regimes here. But no, that's the beautiful part, was that we can stay as long as we want, as long as we're doing something, right? So that was a big bonus, because I'm going to be 60 in September, but I'm not ready to retire. I still want to work. I still got some gas in the tank. You know what I'm saying? But maybe later in my career, I want to do sales again. Give this president job to somebody else. You know what I mean? But anyhow.
So. All right, I got 2 more questions, and I think I'm about it. All right, is there something unique? I think you guys are honestly unique, but is there something unique about how you offer what you offer, how you sell what you sell, that makes you unique from kind of, I mean, Toronto's a big city, let's face it, there's a lot of players, right? What makes Applied somewhat unique, in this area?
I think that
guys, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Basically, we can talk to the operator right at the bottom of the totem pole and get into the building, and then talk to the VPs and the presidents at the end of the day. I think with my former partners, we have all those angles kind of covered. Like, we used to go in at the bottom of the building and then work our way up to the top of the building, and then, try to get more buildings from that property management company or that owner of the building. And Applied can basically do any type of HVAC work. I think we have the resources here, the manpower, the knowledge at the end of the day, that we're able to do anything in the HVAC industry. And that starts from the top and works our way down to, people pushing paper at the administration level, right?
And I think the other one is our integrity. Like our customers are long term. Like every relationship we built, we used to use projects and construction as a pendulum to get, or a platform to get into the building. But once they got to know Luch, Rico, and myself, and how accessible we've always made ourselves to them, and I'm proud to say some of our customers that Rico introduced us through his train connections, they're still our customers today, 20 odd years after the fact. Peel Board, Dream, which used to be, Oxford. So, yeah, I think that's been key to our success is that the customers we see things through. And trust me, there's been some jobs that have been sideways, but we don't walk away from them. We stay till the end, finish it off, make sure it's done right, even though it's like you're dying inside. And the other one is people call us and we stick to it. Like, we'll take on a job that's problematic and other people have walked away with it, but with our resources, the three of us, we tend to pool it and come up with solutions for them. And that's like, customers know that. They know that if they call the phone at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday, even though we have an on-call system 24/7, Rico, Luch, and John will pick up the phone and make things happen.
And we never had a sales team.
Yeah.
Up to 4 years ago. So myself,
it was you guys.
Yeah, it was us.
Yeah. So, and I apologize for that.
No, we didn't mean that disrespectful, but yeah, we hired our first salesman 4 years ago, Donnie Campbell. I think you guys had the pleasure of meeting Donnie.
Traded. Yeah. That's great.
And you know what? Just another quick point. I think too, eventually we started getting some really good techs, and it gave myself, John, and Luch an opportunity to get off the tools. But then then we had some people follow us in and say, "Hey, these guys are great." You know what I mean? So a lot of credit to our field staff too. Like, we got some rock stars at work here. So, then it doesn't always have to be John, Rico, or Luch going to a call or taking care of stuff, right? So, that's helped us a lot. Like, honestly, like, people want to work here. People work at Apply. We don't have a big turnaround. Like, it's not a turnstile here. People stay. They're good, loyal people. You know what I mean? So.
Well, culture is everything, and upon first glance, and my day and a half I've been here, you got an excellent culture. So I know that people gravitate towards that because it's not easy to find, to be honest. I know there's some difficulty in any industry, but our industry probably has its own challenges regarding keeping that family culture, the do what you say you're going to do culture, right? So that's super, super important, which is probably why you've grown and been successful just like you have. So let's see here. All right, last question. And y'all can each take this if you want to, right? Or if you got a combined story, right? Happy for you to y'all jump in and share whatever. But all right, just think back in the 20 years you guys been working together. And just if I say pull a highlight out of the highlight reel, right? What comes to mind of a cool story, good job, whatever you did, right? Just what are some of that, or maybe something with your employees? I don't know. Just what would be a highlight that something 2 or 3 are probably coming to mind. See if you can share one, and y'all can just go as needed.
You don't have enough time for all of them. We could start a reality show here.
You kept saying that. We're going to do a reality show in the office. You know what? I got one story about. I got one that is still think about to this day. We ended up getting 2 chiller replacements. Big office tower downtown. It was pretty exciting. Maybe 15 years ago. Anyhow, so we got the order. Yeah. We got the letter of intent and everything. So thank God I got the ball rolling to order these chillers with Carrier, 2 of them. And it was 8 weeks. So next thing you know, they finalized. Like, I started December the 12th, and by the time I got the shop drawings approved and all that, it was like middle of January, and then the delivery time turned out to be 16 weeks. I said, okay, how are we going to handle this one, right? So anyhow, customer was all over us. I said, we'll get it done. We had to change the scope of work. We had to, rather than demo these 2 carrier chillers and bring them all down the elevator in pieces at one time, we had to leave 1 chiller running, because next thing you know, we're in May when these things got delivered, right? So we were, the lift was right downtown at Wesley and Bay, so we had to get a permit for a lift, right? And it fell through. We didn't get the permit in time, and the customers all over us, like, what's going on? So I had our project manager stop in. There's a parking lot 1 building over from this building where we got to replace these 2 chillers and set up a crane. I said, see how much it is to rent that parking lot, right? So the guy said $2,500. So we go down there on the Saturday, no permit. We set up in this parking lot. We lifted over a vacant building into the building. We had to go on the 19th floor through a 36 by 8 foot piece of glass. And then there was what parade was going on, John?
It was a marathon.
No, but in behind, because
no, wasn't.
No, you're right. It was a memorial for the police, the Toronto thing, because they were doing the yeah. But and Lucha's right. That's why the original permit fell through. There was a marathon going through the city, so they didn't want to block off Wellesley because it was a bypass artery. Oh man!
No, we're freaking out. We're gonna get shut down, right? So it was about teamwork. Like me, John, and Luch were there. The chillers came on these flatbeds and pieces, and we got everything into that building by 1 o'clock, and we got the job done. And then the customer calls me on Monday, and he said, "Hey, how'd you make out with the permit? We didn't get the permit." What? You didn't get? I go, Fareed, don't worry about it. Everything's in the building. You don't need to know everything. Well, that was pretty impressive between us 3 doing it and a few other guys and the millwrights. So it was a good memory, how we came together and got something done, right? Against all odds, right? I remember that.
So I now have a question. What are the statutes of limitations like in Canada? Are we good? Do we need to edit this out? Are you guys good or what?
We're good. We're good.
It's Service Logic's problem.
Okay.
It was more than 15 years ago. They're fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, cool. We'll leave it in.
That chiller's been replaced again. That's right.
It's still there, and we're still serving. Huh?
Pardon?
Yeah, they're still running those 2 carriers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Corey's right. They're almost due.
You guys got a good one? Yeah, for real.
I don't know. There's so many. Nothing really comes to mind right now. You know what, guys? This comes from the heart. I enjoy working with my 2 former partners. It's a good marriage. It's a good marriage, right?
Carl's going to say we're gay, but that's okay.
That's okay.
He calls Lucha and I gay all the time because we share offices.
Right. So, Rico said it. He stepped up to the plate to become president of Applied. That took a lot, right? We were thinking that he would get shit canned after they really got to know Rico, but it didn't come true. So, one good story.
Did you tell him?
John and I were in Arizona, and we were at the gun range.
Yeah.
Right, and we were shooting that M16 or whatever it was, that machine gun, right? And you know how the shells come off of it, and then they were all over the place. So I'm picking up a couple of shells, and Greg Guy says, "Hey, Luch, what are you going to do with those shells, right?" And I said, "Listen," I said, "this is how you become president of Applied in Canada." I said, "I'm going to throw a couple of shells in Rico's luggage, and he's going to go through the detector, and they're going to pull him aside and bring his pants down to his ankles. I said, "That's how you become." He took me seriously. Seriously. So that was the ongoing joke. Rico didn't know about it, and it was going from business unit to business unit. Greg had everyone's ear the last 2 days and was telling everyone, "This is how these guys are going to become president of Applied." He was going from business unit to business unit and telling people. Me and John were just cracking up.
That's awesome. That's
I
funny.
check my luggage now.
Yeah, that was fun. I did the same thing.
Yes.
Anyhow.
All right, boys. Well,
That's all I got.
anything else come to mind? If not,
Yeah.
we'll peace out.
Yeah.
I got a
Hey,
quick
look, it was great talking to you
Go
guys.
ahead. John,
Yeah.
All right, go, John.
quick one.
Come on.
So we've always seemed to outgrow our offices. Like we never ever really had our own offices until now. So the three of us at our old facility, we shared the same office. And I mean, you guys have done tenders. You know how stressful it is. You're getting information at the 11th hour, and it's just, go, and you're trying to compile numbers and make sure. Anyways, tender days can be stressful. This particular day, I had 2 tenders closing. Rico had 1, and anyways, we're going back and forth, and Luch goes, "Are you good? Did you close them both?" And I go, "Yeah, they're done. Thank God, they're done." And Rico goes, "Oh, they must have been easy ones, right?" And Luch goes, "Your face went real red. You looked like you were going to jump over the fucking desk." I'm sorry, pardon. I'm speaking French again. That's French Canadian I was speaking. It wasn't swearing. He goes, "You look like you were going to jump over the desk and kill Rico."
Because John and I had this side by side, right? And Rico was across from us. So we used to face Rico, but there was about maybe 10 feet between us, right? And John's faces went completely red.
Yeah.
I got out of my chair and just walked over to John and just tried to calm him down. But Rico said it so casually.
Yeah.
I guess your tenders were a lot easier than mine. It's on tender day back in the day.
Then I
We had about back in the old office, we had about maybe 7 photocopying machines, and any time that Rico was closing a tender, every photocopying machine was spitting out that tender.
That's funny.
I-
All right, boys.
I got to clue in with
I
John on
thought
tender.
about it.
Go ahead.
I have one last question. I don't know that we've answered it. If I'm tracking properly, I still don't know where the name Applied came from. Because if I'm tracking properly, it was Arctic, and then Luch had Ellis Mechanical. Where did the name Applied come from?
We kind of.
That was one
I
of
think
our
we were
texts.
flipping around names. Yeah, and I think we stuck with it because we liked the fact to be at the top of
top of the alphabet.
Somebody go. John, go.
Sorry, Rick, go for it.
He's frozen.
Is he frozen?
No.
Yeah,
I don't know.
One of our texts.
So...
Yeah, he's freezing up.
It's the hardest question we've asked so far.
Yeah.
God Almighty.
I know it was a collectively one of our texts, and the fact that it was at the top of we said, "Oh, we're going to be at the top of the list," and being A, starting a company with the letter A in the alphabet, and even on the directory, we'd always be at the top, or close to the top. So we kind of stuck with it, and then the design, it was by fluke. My daughter's a freelance graphic designer, and she kind of did the swooshes and selected the colors, and she said that these are the colors you need to go with going forward. You know, they represent environmentally, you know, say like a sound company. And yeah, oddly enough, our swooshes kind of really worked well with Service Logic and our colors.
Hey, you remember Johnson
Good
Controls?
story. Well, fellas. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, right after we changed our
No,
logo,
you remember
Johnson
after
Controls
we-
changed their logo very similar.
And then JPI jumped on, yeah, the green and the blue.
Yeah.
They didn't like my suggestion for the new
Well.
company name. It had my first name in it, Rico Air Conditioning. They said, "No, no way, that's not going to fly." But there's a truck every morning. I'm going to take a picture. There's a van that drives on the 400 here on the highway every morning. It's called Rico Electric. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm kidding. No.
Everybody's got to make a side gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for taking some time.
Thank you,
It's been a
gentlemen.
pleasure to get to know you guys, to get the backstory. Keep on building the engine here in Toronto, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you guys. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thanks for
you.
coming up, guys. I hope you enjoy Toronto.
Yeah.